G'day, this is Central Coast Newspapers Weekly News 5 at 5 for the second week of December 2022. In the bulletin this week, Gosford's big march against violence, debate over land tax heats up, local skier bounces into World Cup podium, romance of steam visits the coast, growing gardens with Sherilyn, and musicians making a real difference. Now, around 300 people marched through Gosford on Wednesday, demanding action on putting an end to domestic and family violence. Assembling at the Coast Shelter head office at the northern end of the town at around 10 a.m, the marchers included representatives from community groups, schools, police, Indigenous groups, women's groups and others. Central Coast Council and Coast Shelter and members of the public were part of the march. The march proceeded along the full length of Man Street with many walkers bearing placards. We caught up with Coast Shelter CEO Michael Starr.
Michael, big day, big turnout. What's it all in aid of?
Well, really it's in aid of 16 days of activism to really raise awareness on the Central Coast around this the scourge of domestic and family violence and gender-based violence that unfortunately, Dave, we're seeing not improve across the coast on every statistic. When you see the number of children under 12 living in our domestic violence refuges, crisis refuges with their mum, it's absolutely breaks your heart at this time of the year.
Now, Parliamentary Secretary for the Central Coast, Adam Crouch, says criticism by member for Gosford Liesl Tesh of the state government's new land tax scheme shows, quote, a total lack of understanding. The scheme passed recently in the New South Wales Parliament, allowing first home buyers to choose between paying an annual land tax or an upfront stamp duty on their property. Tesh said the scheme would potentially force out some people out of their homes with the taxes calculated based on property values. Though Crouch said it's a reform that will lower the entry price of homes for first home buyers.
The New South Wales Liberal National State Government's First Home Buyers Choice Scheme is exactly that. It is a choice. It provides first home buyers who are looking at a property of up to $1.5 million with the option of paying an annual fee rather than a massive upfront stamp duty bill. What this can do is take years off the opportunity for people to get into their first home here on the Central Coast.
Now, Central Coast skier Matt Graham has taken a bronze medal in the opening event of the Mogul Skiing World Cup season in Ruka, Finland last week. In the men's event, the 2018 Olympic silver medalist bounced back strongly from his injury-interrupted Olympic season to record the 19th podium of his World Cup career. All good moguls to you, Matt. Now, the romance of steam train travel maintains its currency among families along the Central Coast Hunter Line. Locomotive 5917, aka the picnic train, visited Gosford last weekend. The carriages were packed as usual, and interestingly, the trip between the city and Gosford on the steam train is faster than a regular train. Seems progress takes a slow path. Now let's have a chat with Sherilyn, as always, about gardening gatherings across the Central Coast.
I'm Sherilyn Darcy and this is the Gardening News. East Gosford Community Garden has their Christmas market on this Saturday, the 10th of December, 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. or until sold out. Lots of lovely homemade goodies and plants at this one. And are you looking for Christmas gifts for the beginner gardener? Well, how about a gardening journal, a gardening hat or apron? For more gardening gift ideas, check out my Down in the Garden page in the Coast News newspapers this week.
Now, this week's 41 local stories written by local journalists can be found in this weekend's newspaper, Coast Community News, and on our local news website, coastcommunitynews.com.au. Find us on your mobile phone's Google News and Apple News apps, where fresh local stories are published every day. And of course, you can subscribe to our good old-fashioned weekly email newsletter via our website and or follow our socials via YouTube, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram for brief highlights throughout the week. And Radioheads, listen in to our bulletin on Radio 50 Plus 93.3 FM throughout the weekend and every day during the week. We leave you this week with a good underground movement story. Musicians making a difference have teamed up with school-based learning company Skill Engineer to give local high school students a real taste of the music and entertainment industry. We caught up with them this week.
A skilled creative, which is the media arm of the skill engineer, has moved in with MAD, which is so exciting because we take young people through entertainment work placements, and it just is such a great fit to be able to work in with these guys and make a real creative hub on the Central Coast for young people.
I'm David Abrahams. Have a great weekend and thanks for tuning in.